My name is Keating. I'm deacon at St. John, York Mills Anglican Church. And I have had the privilege also of working at the Ministry of Education for the Government of Ontario at the Literacy and Numeracy Secretariat when the government mandated character education in all publicly funded schools from kindergarten to grade 12. As soon as I heard about this, I thought, oh, great, it's about time. But as I looked into the program, I thought, this sounds like it's Christianity 101 without Christ. And I just wondered what the impact would be to our children and youth and their families. Thinking that, it's great to go out and be respectful and go out and build a house for Habitat for Humanity and do all these wonderful good things and be a good person. I felt that as Christians, there's more to us as Christians than doing good works. Part of who we are and what we do is to strengthen our faith and relationship with God and with Christ. And I had concerns about our children who are in the publicly funded system coming back to church school and maybe hearing about some of these issues, social justice issues, things like building a house for Habitat for Humanity through the church, and thinking, well, we did that already at school, so I don't really need to do it here. How do we get across to them that for us as Christians, it's more than that? How do we develop, how do we enable them to have that environment, that safe, secure environment that will enable them to learn, to know that for us, it's about God. It's about loving God first and foremost and showing our love for Him, building our relationship with Him by honoring Him in what we do, for Him and with and for each other, living Christ in the community who knows no Christ. And so I spoke to our interim priest in charge, who was actually Bishop Blackwell, about my concerns, and he encouraged me to present to the House of Bishops. Little did I know. Anyways, I did do that presentation. It wasn't the best presentation, but I did try to contact some of the bishops ahead of time to give them a heads up. I guess you could call it lobbying. And I found some really great support. Bishop Poole was terrific, very supportive. Bishop Hugh and Bishop Johnson. And there were a couple of other bishops, and I'm sorry I've forgotten who they were, but there's one up in the north who was extremely supportive. And when I made the presentation, similar to what I'm saying to you now, and of course as a deacon, this is my job, is to bring what's happening in the world to the church, to make the church aware that here's an opportunity for us. We maybe don't have our schools, but we still have a role to play in building the armor of our children and youth and their families. So when I said to the bishops that the Government of Ontario has invited a response from communities, including faith communities, and that I felt that we could, as a faith community, respond to the government's initiative in a way that would really lift up our community, support our priests, deacons, and youth and children ministers, and all our congregation, to help them realize what the real focus of all of this is and how we can play a role. They did support it unanimously. And then, of course, it was left up to me with what to do with that. And I deliberated for a while, and I talked to more people who were all very supportive, but nobody had an idea of how to get this started. And as God would have it, Tay Moss came into my life. It was the best thing that happened to me. Tay has been inspirational and supportive, and he had a vision of Christ-centered character that kind of married with my vision. And together, I think we worked on developing, it's a vision really. It's a vision that's in the works. And it's changing, it's dynamic, and we feed off each other. And we've gotten a group of people who work with us, and right now it's just Church of the Messiah and St. John York Mills, but it is at least the Church of the Messiah and St. John York Mills. And we are working towards building up Christ-centered character in the church and making our Anglican community aware of what's happening in the world and how we can respond to it and build up faith formation amongst our own children, youth, and families. And as we deliberated, we thought, wow, we really need a place to house this. Felt like we were trying to build a temple, but anyways, we did feel we needed a place to house some of our resources and ideas. And so Aaron Smith and Carrie Fulton, children and youth minister, Aaron at St. John and Carrie at Church of the Messiah, have been really inspirational and creative. And Aaron came up with this idea of the ARC, the Anglican Resource Center. I believe it was Aaron's idea anyway. And we all kind of thought this was great. This was a way that we could kind of cement what we were thinking about with Christ-centered character and give it a home. So we're in the process now of trying to formulate a proposal to get some funding. Not a lot of funding. We figured that this initiative can really be self-sustaining and grow on its own, but we'll need some seed money. And more importantly, we need the support of the Christian community in the Anglican community. And I guess, first of all, we need to make them aware of what's happening and why we feel it's important. So if you hear about this initiative and you want to learn more about it, call Tamos at Church of the Messiah, or you can get me as well at my St. John York Mills email address. And we would be really happy to meet with you, talk with you, or with any group in your church to let you know what's happening with us and how we're progressing along this route. And please pray for us as we go forward to do the work of the Lord.